call this meeting to order. We have a quorum. All three commissioners are present. Sheriff, would you like to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance this morning? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I move that we approve the minutes of April 11th, 2016.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Are there any additions, deletions, corrections? No. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Minutes are approved. Public comment. Colonel Ron Averill.
Good morning, Commissioners. Ron Averill, Centralium. On the consent agenda this morning is an item on the voluntary stewardship program. As a member of the Farm Bureau, this is a very important program for us. I think we're getting off a little late in starting. I understand that that's the Conservation Commission that was the problem, but we really need to have that program go well, and I'm glad to see that it finally is getting approved. The funding is there. Now we need to start getting the meetings, and the Farm Bureau will provide assistance wherever needed.
Did you see on that list, Colonel, the resolution just after?
Yeah, that's Conservation Commission. That's Bob Amrine working, and we felt that was really important to have the Conservation Commission involved, because most of the things that we can do to meet the requirement of the critical areas is through the Conservation Commission. So that MOA is really important to us as well.
We appreciate Farm Bureau's involvement. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That is the only public comment I have. Is there anyone else? Proclamations.
I can read proclamation number 1, proclaiming Earth Day in Lewis County. Whereas the first Earth Day was celebrated on April 22nd, 1970, with the goal of inspiring environmental awareness and encouraging conservation, protection, and appreciation of our nation's natural resources. And whereas it is the responsibility of each of us to safeguard the environment by recognizing that all human life depends upon the earth and upon one another for our mutual existence, well-being, and development. And whereas the steps we can take to protect and preserve our natural environment through education, partnerships, and positive actions should be encouraged in Lewis County. And whereas the citizens of Lewis County are committed not only to the protection and preservation of our environment, but also to the restoration of ecosystems and habitat. And whereas Lewis County citizens, staff, and elected officials are working closely with federal, state, and local governments, Centralia College, and with non-governmental organizations to develop and implement programs specifically designed to preserve and improve Lewis County's fragile ecosystem and the quality of life therein. And whereas the Lewis County Solid Waste Utility has joined forces with Centralia College to host an Earth Day celebration from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., April 22nd, 2016, at Centralia College. And whereas Lewis County recognizes all who participate in Earth Day for their dedication to taking a proactive role in shaping the future of our environment and in protecting Lewis County's precious natural resources. Now, therefore, be it resolved, the Board of County Commissioners hereby proclaims April 22nd, 2016 as Earth Day in Lewis County, and urges all our citizens to join us in efforts to preserve the beauty and wonder of the lands, skies, and water of the earth and all its diversity. Done in open session this 18th day of April 2016.
Thank you so much for proclaiming April 22nd Earth Day in Lewis County. It's a very exciting day because in my recollection, I think that's the first ever Earth Day proclamation in Lewis County. So I applaud the Lewis County Commissioners for being so forward-thinking and embracing Earth Day, because we have a lot of exciting things happening and a lot of things going on this month. The volunteers, our WSU Lewis County Master Recyclers and I had a booth at the Home and Garden Show over the weekend, and we took first place for the education category. So that was really exciting. And so my friend the Lorax and I, that's one of the Case family's favorite books, especially to read around Earth Day, to talk about caring for our environment and being good about planting trees and taking care of our earth. We just would like to share that with you and think about what you can do to help the environment. And of course, we'd like to make every day Earth Day in Lewis County, and we try to do that with our special events. But in April, we have a lot of things going on. The big event you mentioned is our Earth Day celebration at Centralia College on Friday. And I brought a poster that I put up over there. And so some of the exciting things happening, at 10 o'clock, the Fox Theater is sponsoring a movie called Just Eat It. It's a documentary about food waste. Each family of 4 throws away about $130 worth of food each month. And so we're trying to have people think about how they can reduce the amount of food they're throwing away by shopping more smartly, putting things in the refrigerator in an easier way to organize, and they can see what's going to spoil first, or what they need to eat up, or maybe they're storing things incorrectly. And then also this week, we have a tire recycling event going on in Mossy Rock, so that's Thursday, Friday, and Saturday at our old Mossy Rock drop-box site on Larson Road. And then also at the Earth Day event, we have a 2-day styrofoam recycling event going on, so that'll take place at Earth Day at Centralia College, and then we'll be continuing it on Saturday at the transfer station. And then the tire recycling event will continue into May. We'll do an event in May in Chehalis at the fairgrounds for all the people in the west end of the county. So in addition to our events that Lewis County is putting on, there are other events going on in the community where people can do their one thing to help the environment. Seed Pod Farms in Centralia is having a big Earth Day celebration on Saturday from 10 to 3. And then also Friends of Seminary Hill are doing an Earth Day work party on Saturday. So no matter what your interest is, whether it's recycling, learning how to compost, or reduce the amount of waste you throw away, there's always just one thing that each one of us can do to make Lewis County and our entire earth a better place to live and keep it clean for the future.
For the record, could you give us your name and where you work?
Okay, so I'm Melanie Case. I'm the recycling program coordinator for the Lewis County Solid Waste Utility, which is part of the Department of Public Works. And in honor of Earth Day and the Lorax and planting trees and flowers and vegetables, I brought some hemlock trees and seeds that people in the audience are more than welcome to take and plant in their homes.
What kind of trees do you have?
I have hemlock trees. And those are compliments of the WSU Lewis County Master Gardeners had some left over from the Home and Garden Show, so we're handing them out today and then also at the Earth Day celebration.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Thank you. And she's responsible for, we at the County Commission, to save our coffee grounds. And so they help the worms. So we save them in a pot and encourage other people to do similar things. She has a lot of great ideas for us. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay. We have a proclamation here for National Correctional Officers and Employees Week. Whereas the Lewis County Sheriff's Office is committed to public safety through professional service, and whereas an essential part of this concept is operating a professional, safe, and secure jail, and whereas correction officers are unseen and often unappreciated, dedicated professionals who chose a career as a community servants who manage a diverse group of individuals, some of whom are violent, mentally ill, and dangerous. And whereas correction officers are integral to ensuring the citizens of Lewis County are protected from people who the criminal justice system have determined are not safe to be large and part of our communities. And whereas in 1984, President Ronald Reagan designated the first week of May as National Correctional Officers and Employees Week. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Lewis County Board of County Commissioners proclaims the first week of May 2016 as National Correctional Officers and Employees Week in Lewis County, done in open session in this April 22nd, 2016 session.
Good morning, Commissioners. Thank you. Kevin Hansen, Jail Chief for the Lewis County Sheriff, here to speak about this proclamation. I just wanted to take a minute and thank you guys for recognizing the men and women over there in the jail who, like the proclamation says, often go unappreciated in eyes of the public. They serve an integral part of this community. They're public servants. They protect us, our families, and help us to have a better community to raise our kids and go to school. So we appreciate you guys recognizing this and taking the time out of your day to do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I will entertain a motion to approve the two proclamations.
I make a motion to approve two proclamations. Earth Day in Lewis County is number one, and then the second is National Corrections Officer Employees Week in Lewis County, number two.
I second.
The motion has been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Proclamations are approved.
I move that we approve the notice agenda, items 3 and 4, to notice of hearings. Second.
I second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Eric.
Thank you. Eric Eisenberg from the Lewis County Prosecuting Attorney's Office. So I'd like to give the public notice today of two hearings that are coming up that both involve animal kennels here in Lewis County. The first of them, which is number 3 on your agenda, is the public hearing will be on May 2nd, which is a Monday like this one. It'll be on or after 10 a.m. like this hearing. And that hearing will be about the proposed adoption of an operating permit program for kennels here in Lewis County. It also involves some changes to the dog breeding practices code to allow for that operating permit program to work. And this is something that the Lewis County Department of Public Health and Social Services has been working on for quite some time. We've had 3 different public meetings on it before that were question and answer sessions with the public. We got feedback from them, stakeholders in the county, including the local chapter of the American Kennel Club, and we took lots of viewpoints into account from many different walks of life here in the county, and we hope to hear from you all on May 2nd when the commissioners will have an opportunity to decide whether to pass that program. The second hearing is related but not identical. In looking at introducing this operating permit program, the staff from the county on the community development side noticed that there were some land use changes that would be helpful. Specifically, the code treated animal kennels inconsistently in 2 different rural types of zones, and that change is a very technical one just to make that uniform throughout the county. It also slightly enlarges the place in which animal kennels, hospitals, and grooming facilities may be sited, but it's relatively small as a change. The hearing on that matter will be on May 9th, so the week afterwards. Don't get the two confused because they seem very similar on paper since they both deal with animal kennels. But the one on May 2nd will be the Public Health Department's portion that involves the actual kennel program itself, and the land use portion, which is a much more technical change, is going to be on May 9th. Thank you.
Thank you, Eric.
Thank you.
Any questions on the notice agenda?
No.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Notice agenda is approved.
I make a motion to approve the consent agenda, items 5 through 16.
Flip it over.
Sorry.
That's a hearing.
No, that's it.
That's a hearing. Yeah.
Well, let's see.
One I have, 5 through 16, resolution numbers 16-070 through numbers 16-125.
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded. I will jump out of order just a little bit, and we'll start out with number 14, Tim Elsey.
Thank you, Commissioners. Tim Elsey, Public Works Director, speaking to Resolution Number 16-123, authorizing a formal application to the Recreation and Conservation Funding Board for grant assistance for the Cowlitz River Public Access Point project. This resolution would authorize a formal application to the Recreation and Conservation Funding Board for grant assistance for the Cowlitz River Public Access Point project. This is not, at this point, asking for a specific dollar amount. This is purely authorizing us to file for grant assistance. Grant funding assistance for aquatic lands enhancement account projects through the RCO, our Recreation and Conservation Funding Board, is provided for in RCW 79-105-150, 79A-25, and WAC 286. This grant funding would finance the cost of acquisition and facility development for the Cowlitz River Public Access Point project. In order to submit the application, to the RCO, we need Lewis County Board of County Commissioner approval through the resolution process. This is to provide for access to the Cowlitz River there at the Skate Creek Bridge out in Packwood. This is from a parcel that the county previously purchased from Linda Lewis as part of the upstream bank stabilization project, and then hopefully the acquisition of another parcel adjacent to that. And then also the development of the parking area and then putting in a couple of restrooms. We have no idea if we'll be authorized for the funding or, like I say, at this point, what the funding amount would be.
Just for those of you who have probably not been up there, it's on the, if you were going across the Skate Creek Bridge, it'd be on the right-hand side, where if you've been up there, you'll notice when there's fish and they dump fish and salmon, all kinds of things in there, there's a large number of people that park there. And there's not adequate parking. So I think Tim came to the board and specifically had asked if we would be interested, and it is a private property owner. So, we're trying to look at opportunities for people to go up there and park and enjoy the river and other things without infringing on other people's property, basically. So I think it's a great opportunity depending on, how the application moves through. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Consent agenda item number 5 has got a number of 16070. This is making some minor changes to that previous resolution. When we first approved this, the money for the Discover Children's Museum was granted, and they would be able to access those funds when they had all the money available to build the building. The city of Chehalis came up and said they're making good progress. We would like to use some of that money prior to the approved date on this 070, and we looked at it. We told them that you can use some of the money for site prep that's going to go in no matter when it happens. So we are changing this resolution. It was tabled from a previous meeting. So this is actually allowing them to access that money earlier. The next two, which are back on track, 116-115 and 16-116, are approving 2 grants from the Distressed Counties Funds for industrial projects on the Port of Chehalis. One is for a Haben Road Industrial Complex, and other is repairs to the Curtis Rail Line.
Right.
Okay.
Then going to item number 8, resolution number 16-117. It's authorizing a grant with the City of Mossy Rock, and they are getting money from the Distressed Counties Fund under the tourism. We allocate about $100,000 each year for tourism efforts. And the City of Mossy Rock, in addition to the money we're giving them, they also have received the RCO grant. So this will help them further develop their Klickitat Prairie Park. Then item number 9, resolution number 16-118 is with the City of Morton. And once again, Distressed Counties Fund aimed at tourism. And the City of Morton has done a good job of recruiting folks to sponsor an electronic board that can be seen from Highway 12 and Route 7. So this will be a good way for them to advertise nonprofit. They can't have like 4 pork chops for $1 on it, but they can have, this is our tourism area, this is our visitor area, this is the Tiller Center. And so it's, once again, a partnership, as with the Mossy Rock. There's funds coming from different areas in addition to the Distressed Counties Fund.
And there were a number of businesses that stepped up. I know that Hampton, PUD, the Chamber itself, so there were a number of businesses that actually gave the, I want to say it was the total expense for the board was around about $56,000, and I think the community came up, their partners came up with more than half of that. So, that's a good, really a good deal for everyone.
Yes.
Number 10, resolution number 16, TAC 119, is the annual or biannual budget grant for the EDC, the Economic Development Council. It's $125,000 a year. This is both for operation of the EDC and implementation of their strategic initiatives. Over the last couple of years, they've come up with a branding plan, a plan to market Lewis County, and then they came up with a strategic plan, and this will be to implement some of the strategic initiatives that they've come up with. So this is part of a multi-year process. We approve money from the Distressed Counties funds every 2 years for the EDC, and this is that process that we're approving again this year.
And next is number 11, appointing members to the Lodging Tax Advisory Committee. You may be aware that we have 6 people now are going to be on our committee. We have 2 holdovers, and Ranger Pugh from Rainbow Falls and Bonnie Blake, who's from Art Trails. So we have a provider and an applicant. And so we're adding to that list Larry Jones from Mossy Rock. He's Tacoma Power and the campgrounds. Dan Kay, PUD Campgrounds, East End. Users, Harry Bagwanden from Onalaska Alliance and CJ Neer from Destination Packwood. So we will be having 6 people on our LTAC. And if you look at the map of Lewis County, we will have 2 represent the West End, 2 the East End, and 2 in the Central. So we think we'll have a balanced Lodging Tax Advisory Committee coming up this year. And number 12, appointing members to the Southwest Washington Fair Commission. And we are adding Ted Livermore, and he's a great volunteer at the Lewis County Historical Museum. Jennifer Slemp, who's Mayor Pro Tem from Napavine, and Todd Mason, a local businessman, to the Southwest Washington Fair. And so if anybody wants to speak who's been added to either of the LTAC or to the Fair Commission, please go to the mic and identify yourself.
Yes, my name is Harry Bagwanden, and I'm from Onalaska, but I noticed that you said that I was representing Onalaska Alliance as a Lodging Tax Board member, which I just want to make sure that that's incorrect.
Okay, tell us.
So I'm not what I am is I apply for a lot of lodging tax grants, several of which have come to Onalaska Alliance, but I also work as an independent consultant grant writer for other nonprofit agencies. Like, for instance, this year I got the grant for Lewis County Community Trails. So I don't know if that makes me ineligible not being part of a particular nonprofit. I try to stay off of the boards so that I can work independently. So I'd be a citizen at large or however, but don't want to be categorized as a board member of Onalaska Alliance.
But you have applied for grants.
Yes, I have
Yes,
applied for the Apple Harvest Festival for Onalaska Alliance in the past when I was a board member.
Yes.
And other organizations.
And what we did like about your application is that you have had many opportunities to apply. You know the criteria, you know the process.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
you also have applied for other grants, so people aren't just hanging their hat on lodging tax dollars. You've been successful with the USDA, et cetera. So
Correct.
we like the composition of your background, that you would bring this as an applicant.
Yeah, I'm honored, and I will definitely do my best to serve the tourism community in Lewis County.
Thank you, Harry.
And
Mr. Ted Livermore, our new appointee, and also with this group, we have another one of the Fair Commissioners, Mr. John Lucas. Wave your hand, sir.
Hi, John. Yeah, I just wanted to thank you for the opportunity and for the discussions we've been able to have on the fair, about the fair, the fairgrounds, and I hope to, I'll do my very best to see what we can do to upgrade it and to bring a little more attraction to Lewis County and bring more events to Lewis County, which we need. But I just want to thank you for the opportunity to serve there.
Thank you, sir.
thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for stepping up.
Suzette?
Donna, you've been standing there for a while.
Good morning, Commissioners. I'm not used to being so far down on the agenda. Suzette Smith, Auditor's Office, Financial Services Division, here to present to you Agenda Item Number 13. This is Resolution Number 16-122. It is the weekly approval of claims against the various county departments. Last week, we issued 209 regular warrants, numbers 745745 through 745953. For a total of $578,414.35. In addition, we'll have a skip in sequence. We issued warrants for the special purpose districts. Those were numbers 745954 through 746088. And I only mention that because recently the SAO had an issue with one entity that was not reading in the difference in sequence. So when we have special purpose district warrants, we issue those weekly. I'm going to also read those in, so if anyone goes back through your agenda and your resolutions, they will know that those were issued for a just cause. Questions? Thank you.
Donna Olson.
For being so patient.
Skip 14. So, good morning, Commissioners. Donna Olson, Lewis County Community Development, speaking for items 15 and 16 on the consent agenda this morning. Item 15 is Resolution 16-124, and that's to allow the Community Development Director to enter into an agreement with the Washington State Conservation Commissioner for the funding for the Voluntary Stewardship Program, which, as you know, we've been working on for quite some time to get that contract in place. Item number 16 is Resolution 16-125, and that's the other piece of the program, and that's for the county to be working with the Conservation District for some of that expertise. So, questions? Thank you.
Any further discussion on the consent agenda?
No?
Call for the question. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Consent agenda is approved. Next will be a hearing on approval of open space designations and then considering resolution number 16-126. We will start out with a report and then we'll open it for question and answers. After the question and answer period, we'll have a opportunity for public statement and then we'll consider the resolution.
For the record, Diane Dory, Lewis County Assessor, here to talk about the applicants for the open space portion of the current use programs in my office. Each year, the Public Benefit Rating System committee meets to discuss whether or not we are approving applications for open space farm and ag conservation or open space. Open space farm and ag conservation is land that was previously farmed and would have a high intent of returning to farming. In other words, it has to be kept in that status, ready to return to farming at any time. They have up until 10 years to get back in the program. Open space is land that's left in its natural state. They cannot use the land for anything other than some nature trails or maybe some camping on it, but it is to be left in its natural state. The Public Benefit Ratings Committee meets and they assign points to each property. And at the end of that process, they make a recommendation to the Planning Commission. And the Planning Commission then makes a recommendation to accept or reject those applications to you. I'm here today to talk about the 3 applicants. The Garrisons have 2 parcels, and they received 30% reduction. Wibblemans have 2 parcels, and each one received a 40% reduction. And the Zimmermans have 1 parcel going into open space. The other 2 were open space farm and ag conservation applicants. Zimmermans are open space, and they are to receive an 80% reduction, or 8 points.
Does the board have any questions?
No.
Is the 6.5 acres from the Zimmermans, did I hear that that's adjacent to a larger parcel they have?
It is correct.
Then I'll open questions from the floor. Does anybody have any questions? Does anybody have any questions? If there are no questions, I will close the question and answer period and open for public comment. Does the board have any comments?
No. Well, the fact that I happened to have the opportunity to sit on that board is very interesting, very educational, and there's different perspectives coming from different angles, but it was a real learning experience for me and enjoyable working with all parties involved. So
We appreciate your sitting in on that committee. Thank you.
Diane, would you like all your comments from the state or from the report added into the hearing?
Yes, please.
Are there any other public comments, any statements? Then I will close the hearing and entertain a motion to approve the open space designations.
I move that we approve open space designations resolution number 16-126.
I second.
Motion has been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Any other comments, Diane?
No.
Then I will call for the vote. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Resolution is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Diane. With no further business, I make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Motion to adjourn and seconded. All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? We are adjourned.